Just let me say one
Yeah.
thing before you guys start. My dad used to tell me stuff all the time, historical stuff, and I'd sit there and go, "Oh, here we go." But you know what? As I got older, I was like, "Hey, you know what? He was right." That, you know, and now I pay a little more attention, you know. But back then, I thought he was wasting my time. But,
So, can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to come here in the mission?
well, my father is from Mexico, and he slowly brought his parents and then his younger brothers from Mexico, brought them here to the United States, and so they ended up living here. I lived in Redwood City, down on the peninsula. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with Redwood City. That's suburbia, and now a lot of people from Mexico live in Redwood City. Back then, when I was growing up there in the 60s, they weren't there. They were here, right? So I tell people I grew up a white guy. And I had a, you know, and I had a Hispanic Mexican background, you know. But, and luckily my mom was bilingual, which kind of helped. She was from Sacramento, but her parents were from Mexico. So like I said, I grew up like Leave It to Beaver down in Redwood City. You know, but I knew I wanted to come to San Francisco. We would come and visit my grandparents, and they had a shoe repair store here. And so I was always in San Francisco. And then, you know, the music scene hit in the 60s. There was a lot of music, Santana, and all that coming out of San Francisco. So we always wanted to come to San Francisco, you know. And then I eventually moved here to go to college, San Francisco State. So when I went to State, I kind of felt like a fish out of water. You know, I wanted to get involved with the Latino organizations and the Chicano organizations, but I felt like I was the white guy, you know. So I had to learn how to be Chicano, you know. And as I just got into the culture, and then I lived here in the mission, you know, just little by little, I knew this is where I wanted to set up my practice. I thought I was always going to go back to Redwood City, but I ended up staying here. We've been here 30 years now.
So it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
You must have all kinds of memories about 24th Street over
Well,
the years.
Yeah, you know, once again, when I was in college, I always thought, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to go back to Redwood City, right? And I started, I don't know if you guys know who Bill Graham is. Bill Graham is the guy that started doing concerts here in San Francisco. So I started as a volunteer, right? And that's how I got involved in music, you know, just, and I wanted to do more of that when I was in school. And my dad was part of the Merchants Association here on 24th Street. And they started a street fair. And it was him and a bunch of old guys. That's the way I looked at it. My dad goes, I want you to help these guys. You know, you work for Bill Graham, I want you to help them. And I was like, you know, typical teenage, oh man, I don't want to do that. I'm rock and roll guy, you know. But I did that, and that was training, more training for a music business, how to set up a festival, you know, stage and hire music and bands. And then from there I met the lead singer of Malo. I ended up managing Malo for 25 years, you know. It was just by those things coming together, you're putting experiences, and, you know, they say luck is being at the right place at the right time and being prepared, you know, and that's what happened there. So little by little, I just started getting more into the community, you know. Then I became part of the Merchants Association, and I was on the board of RAP, you know, which helps kids out. So next year I know, I was like, hey man, maybe I'll stay here.
Yeah. So that was great. So what do you think would be your fondest memory that you have of being here?
I would say doing the 24th Street Fair. You know, because it was something that I resisted. You know, I didn't want to do it. It was my dad and his merchant buddies, and I didn't want to do it. But once I did the first event, and then I first came in and did security, then they asked me to organize, and I didn't even know what I was doing, right? But it's just a matter of organizing, and, like I said, I'd already seen it through the Bill Graham organization. So I kind of had an idea, so it was doing something that now I really enjoy. I did Carnival for 10 years, and it was something I enjoyed doing, and I did it with somebody else's money, so, having a safety net is pretty good.
Absolutely.
So I would say those years were just, fun and very satisfying when I would do one of those street fairs, and people were, the whole community came out and was, enjoyed it, was really excited about it, and couldn't wait for the next year.
Great.
And all the musicians started coming to me and, hey man, we want to play next year. So that's how I got to know all the musicians.
Yeah.
And that kind of just brought me into that community right away. Like I said, learned a lot, met a lot of people, and it's something I still enjoy doing.
Fantastic.
So,
What drastic changes have happened in 24th Street from your memories till now?
that's a good one. I would say the nationalities here in the Mission used to be predominantly Mexican. Now it's really mixed, and that's what I've seen with my patients: Salvadorian, Nicaraguan, South American. That has changed a lot. It's not Mexican anymore. It was predominantly Mexican, and even before that, I understand it was Irish. How do you go from Irish to Mexican? I don't know, but that happened. And then now we see that, and now it's even changing again. Now it's getting, they say, gentrified, and like I said, bring that up when you talk to Roberto, because if there's anybody fighting that,
it's
Roberto. We want to keep the mission, but little by little, people are buying the properties, and it's kind of changing the face a little bit. You can walk up the street and you see it with the coffee shops, and, all that stuff. So it's starting to change a little bit.
Yeah.
So, talking more about what you were saying, what are your opinions about the gentrification that's happening in the Mission?
I would like to see it stay predominantly Hispanic, but that's a matter of economics. That I have no control over. The workforce and people, even in the Hispanic Latino community, they're getting some work. Now they can afford a home. Maybe they don't want to stay here, they move out. Everybody made the exodus to Antioch, and then the price of gas went up. So whatever they saved moving there, now they're going to pay in time and gas. I know because my sister moved out there, So, that's the one thing you can't control. And that's what's going to change the face of this community. As much as we want it to stay, economics probably. People being able to afford the houses, buying the houses here. It's not Hispanic people.
That's right. Well, I know you're not feeling very well today. We want to thank you very much for your time. I know you're very busy.
I look forward.
And for a professional to give his time, is something that we sincerely appreciate. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.